headed over to my cousin Dan's property. It's not far from here. I'm not going to do a campground. I'm going to actually like go off onto the property and, you know, so that I'm not just like car camping, because that would kind of be pointless if I'm using a rooftop tent going. Not pointless, but you know what I mean. The whole point is to get off-road, take the tent off-road, and find some great spots that are more remote. So I'm going to go onto his property, you know, back towards the woods, and set this thing up, try it out. With a serious lack of time right now due to having a new baby, I had to just go find a place that I could set the tent up that looked like I was out in nature. My cousin really only has 9 acres, which is great, but you know, it's not like super remote, which I would love to do. And just because having a baby means that my wife needs me at home, so I couldn't spend a night out really practically at the moment. But I did really get to actually put this tent up and try out all the different features, and I have to say I am really happy. Now the journey just getting to the back of his property, I clearly right here got stuck in the mud, almost got stuck in the mud. So I decided to back out of there pretty quickly because I didn't want to dig up his yard. And yeah, I had to find a different way around. So I went through the fence, not through the fence, but an old fence row to get there. And even then I had to gun it through some of these muddy spots, and then finally made it out onto some of the more solid grassy areas where the soil wasn't eroding and I could make it. But let's check out the Naturnest Softshell tent. This thing is, yeah, I think you're gonna like it. A lot more mud than I thought. Thankfully I made it up this little walking on top of the ground, it didn't feel too bad, but it was pretty gnarly, and I was afraid I would get stuck. Man, I always feel like a stock trailhawk is going to do okay, but it always does less than I expect. It does worse than I expect. There is a house down there. I'm gonna try and stay away from there. Maybe go over there towards the woods, or stay right here by this tree line. And back here on the back of this property, just go ahead and check it out. All right, I'm gonna park it here and set up the tent. Also, thank you all for supporting my channel and watching. Go ahead and check out some of the merch I got linked down below. You won't see the hats, but if you click through the link, you'll find all the different products. Thank you guys for watching and supporting my channel. So setting up the tent is really straightforward and easy. It is definitely more time consuming. Now, of course, you start by unstrapping these cover straps that go directly over the top, and then you remove the Velcro that attaches the cover to the bulk of the tent. Now, there's 3 sides of Velcro that you need to loosen, and the 4th side stays attached in this nice little track on the bottom of the tent. So once you get the cover off, you need to access the ladder then, which can be difficult. I thankfully have a nice Gobi ladder on my Jeep that I can just climb up, roll the cover off, and then have access to the ladder. If you don't, I don't know how most people would do this without a ladder already in place. thankfully I have one. So then you just pull the ladder, it brings the platform out. And then the nice thing about the design of this is there is a groove, kind of a tongue and groove there at the joint where those two boards meet. In addition, the ladder does hold some of the weight. If you're putting too much weight on the far end there, the hanging end, it will hold the weight. And I haven't noticed any issues with it, or I haven't had any apprehensions sitting on that area.
All right, so now you can see the flaps kind of waving in the wind. Comes with 8 nice poles that push those flaps out to these sides. These corners do have zippers that you attach to the corners so you can detach the rainfly if it's a beautiful clear night and no bugs or whatever. So let's get those up and going. Internal bags. We've got some boot bags. Go right under here.
First thing I noticed, this thing takes a lot longer to set up than a hard shell tent. Of course, go figure. But there's a lot more pieces that I wasn't even aware of. So you see these little arms here. They're actually supposed to push up on the awning. They fit into this little sleeve. I don't know if you can see it. Right there's a sleeve that goes in there, which I need to attach before putting any of the poles up. So that, because right now there's too much tension and I may need to even unzip the rain fly. But those, and that one there, those need to go in that sleeve there. And I don't feel like doing it right now. So this thing takes a significant amount of time to set up. I haven't even timed it, but at least 20 minutes so far. And I haven't gotten this side awning up yet. The far side awning, and then there's a nice little kind of a vestibule flap that's hard, that sticks out of this side, and you can stick some gear on that outside your tent so it's not taking up space inside your tent. Let's go inside the tent and talk about some of the things I like and some of the things that I don't like so far. All right, I like this little boot holder. There's 2 of these little things. You got a nice big pocket for boots, front pocket for socks or anything you want to leave outside that's wet. Now it does slide into this groove here. There's a little, can't even see it, but there's a small groove right under here. And you need to put this in that groove, in that track, before you put these poles in. So that, because that pole blocks the groove completely. So put that in first, then put your arms up, then put your awning poles up. Now let's step inside. Now, of course, the cameras don't do it justice, but this thing is massive. I'm 5'11", and this is easily, I don't know, 80 inches from the edge of this pad to the end. and it can easily fit 2 people lengthwise. Let me jump in. This thing is massive. So something I like, first thoughts on this thing, something I really like is these skylights. I didn't roll these the whole way up yet, but there's 2 massive skylights here. 1, 2, that the outside is, you know, clear PVC that covers this mesh window, which is, you know, if you take the rainfly off, you then just have a mesh window, which is awesome. And then you can, of course, unzip and roll up that mesh window on both sides, and you have, you know, a nice, beautiful starry sky to look up at. You know, if you're out in the wilderness, that's really cool. That's something you don't get with a hard shell tent. I love the windows. I love the natural light and the fact that you can close them all up. Everything, you can easily access the outside, like nothing's completely sealed off that you can't access your poles. I'm going to try and attach this little panel here that also slides into the groove over there. And like I said, this is your kind of your gear vestibule if you want to throw anything out. Although, don't throw anything out there that isn't waterproof. You know, if you have a dry bag or something, you could put gear in and throw it out there if it is raining. But other than that, you know, I would definitely put my boots on that. You do have 2 boot bags, which you could put on. I don't know if there's a groove on that side like this, but you can put 2 of these on the front, and then you've got 2 nice internal bags that just loop over the poles here. These straps attach this vestibule so that it kind of hangs out over. Yeah, I mean, like I said, I'm 5'11". I've got plenty of space down there. Probably a foot right here. Lots of room. And this thing, plenty of room here. You can easily fit 2 people in gear in here. A lot of great ventilation. I'm getting a little bit cold. I'm going to throw my jacket on. When you're setting it up, you get really warm. It takes some effort, but getting cold now. It's about 34, 35 degrees. Well, let's make some lunch. First time using my new stove. Making me a chicken taco. Tacos are such a great, easy backcountry meal. Just get that prepackaged chicken, a little bag of whatever you want, rice, maybe throw some cilantro in that'll keep for a day, you know, if it's not cold. Of course, flour or corn tortilla. I got a corn tortilla. A little bit of hot sauce. I mean, I brought the big setup, but this is probably my favorite backpacking meal is tacos. Something else I really love about this Naturnest Softshell tent is the weight. So it's shipped at 212 pounds, which when I saw that I was like, my crossbars aren't gonna carry that. But when I took it out of the packaging, which was a very solid wood, kind of a makeshift crate, really great packaging. When I took it out of there, it was definitely not nearly as heavy as I thought. Maybe I don't actually know, 150 pounds ish. So dynamic weight, my crossbars can fit that. I will actually be going out again with the Naturnest awning on the passenger side with this tent. I'll actually do an overnight with this. So I'm really happy with the actual weight of the tent. It's very lightweight. Something I do notice, it does add some drag to my vehicle on my everyday drive. Yeah, so I mean, really happy with that. Easy to install. Nothing like the awning. If you saw the awning video, it was pretty rough trying to get that thing. That was a nightmare. I got it installed, thankfully, and it's awesome. I love it. But this, compared to that, was absolutely piece of cake. You know, threw it up, put the bolts into the little track, and nothing to it. It's definitely a fun accessory to have, and for the price tag right now, it's going for $1,000. Man, it's awesome. I'm not gonna lie. This is a great tent to have for $1,000, and I would love to be able to take it out into some weather. I think that'd be a lot of fun to actually spend a night out in the rain. This is definitely a great tent. I'm very happy with this tent. The mattress does seem a little bit, it's probably 2 inches thick, so not, there's a lot out there that are typically 3 inches or so. 2 inches is okay. I think it would be fine. Spending a night in the tent will actually give me the proof of it being good or bad. So far, I think it's fine. You know, the surface underneath is completely flat. There's no bolts or anything, so it's not like you're gonna feel anything through 2 inches. This is their newer version of their softshell tent, and I think this is designed very well. There's a few minor things here and there, such as the Velcro that holds the cover on. You have to fold it up in order to get the rain, kind of the tapered rain edge over that. There isn't actually enough room between the spot where the tapered edge comes down. There's not enough room for it to actually fully go up in there, so it's kind of bent. And you kind of have to like shove it up in there and roll the tapered edge over top, and that way, you know, your corners and your edges are all sealed, and then you can put your tension poles out. So that's one minor thing that I noticed. Not a big thing. I think it'll work, but you know, again, if you're in a heavy rain, maybe it could be an issue. I don't know. But overall, really happy with the design of this tent. I highly recommend Naturnest Softshell tent. Price tag, I love this tent. I think anyone buying this tent is not going to be disappointed with it. Definitely highly recommend. I'll put links to all of the gear that I use on my trips down below. Thank you guys for watching. I'll see you the next time.
never thought I would get a Softshell rooftop tent, but thank you Naturnest for sending this out to me. We're gonna try this on my Jeep. I don't particularly love the idea of a softshell tent. I'd prefer a hardshell tent, but I didn't pay for this, so no complaining here. They sent me the awning a couple months ago. I'll put a link to that video up here, but had some issues mounting it. You can watch that video if you want. So hopefully they've updated their mounting hardware. We're gonna find out. This is what I'm most concerned about, is the distance between those two holes. Distance between that hole and that hole. So I think this is gonna fit. Let's go check it out on the Jeep.
All right, yeah, so my biggest concern is this fitting the width of my crossbars, which is the issue that I ran into with the awning. So I'm gonna climb up the ladder here and check it out. We're good. All right, works for me. All right, I have the Naturnest tent. This thing looks actually pretty nice for a soft shell, especially for the price tag of $1,000. This is definitely their newer model, and it looks like it's got some really great features. Here we have the installation guide, I guess. Yeah, installation manual. Not like, you can see the quality of printing. Not that that even matters, but very low quality photos, but it is color. It comes with, you know, orientations that you can choose if you want to do rear mounted, side mounted, and yeah, I think they did a solid job. So I need to attach the ladder brackets first. The ladder folds into the tent, and that's how you open it. Didn't know that. Cool. About to mount this on the Jeep. There's Adam. So there's the cover. I haven't attached it yet, but this is ready to go, and the hardware is ready to go. The mounting rails that go parallel to the length of the car, it widens as you go towards the front of the car. So tapers back, and of course the mounting rails for the tent don't taper. They're perfectly straight. So in the back here, they might be slightly too close together, or sorry, slightly too far apart, whereas the front, they're perfectly fine. But because they're slightly wider, that might mean that my mounting is a little bit tight. It might clamp in on the actual contact of the Malone crossbar mounting brackets, if that makes sense.
So I was able to very quickly and easily mount this tent, which I'm very happy with. I'm also very happy with the tent itself as a rooftop tent. It's a nice upgraded design from older Softshell tents. I think Naturnest has done a great job at creating some budget-friendly gear like their awning. Again, check that video out if you're interested. Thank you so much for watching. I'm definitely pleased with this tent, especially for the price tag of $1,000. I'll link to the tent below, as well as all of my camping gear. Hopefully this was helpful. If you do have any questions or need some insight or tips for installation, go ahead and leave some in the comments below, and I will see you on the next adventure.